Hello, welcome back to Campus Paper. This is part 2 of IGCSE Chemistry, Paper 2, Variant 2, February-March 2026, covering questions 21 to 40. Let's continue. Question 21. Which two compounds react to form the insoluble salt lead-2 chloride? So we have 1. Lead-2 nitrate, solubility in water, yes. Lead-2 sulfate, no. Silver chloride, solubility in water, no. Sodium chloride, solubility in water, yes. Now you need to know that this is preparation of salt through precipitation because we are forming an insoluble salt. So insoluble salt is formed when two soluble salt react. So here, that means it's going to be lead-2 nitrate because it's soluble in water, and sodium chloride, which is also soluble in water. So soluble salt plus soluble salt is going to give us an insoluble salt in form of a precipitate. So therefore, the answer is option B, 1 and 4. Next question, question 22. Which statement describe properties of transition element? They form white compounds only, that is wrong. Transition metals form colored compounds. They are ductile, yes, that is correct, because they are still metals, so they have the properties of ductility. Option 3, they have high densities, that's also correct. Transition metals have high density. Option 4, they form positive ions by gaining electrons, that is wrong. Atoms form positive ions by losing electrons, not gaining electrons. So therefore, the answer is C, 2 and 3. Question 23. Which statement explain why aluminium has good resistance to corrosion? Okay. Aluminium resists corrosion, and the reason is because it forms a protective oxide layer. When you expose it to the air, it forms a protective oxide layer that protects its surface. So therefore, the answer is B. This aluminium has an oxide layer on its surface. Question 24. Cutting iron helps to prevent rusting. Which coating will continue to prevent the iron even when the coating is damaged? That will be D, which is zinc, which is a process called galvanization or galvanizing. Question 25. Which statement about the substances in water from natural sources are correct? Detergent contains nitrate that cause disease. That is not correct. Sewage contains harmful microbes that cause disease. That is correct. All metals compounds are toxic. That's incorrect. Not all metals are toxic. Fertilizer contains nitrate and phosphate, which damage aquatic life. That is correct. So therefore, the answer is D, 2 and 4. Question 26. The diagram represents processes X and Y and their effect Z in increasing global warming. So we have emission of thermal energy from the air. We have X, Y, and Z. Which arrows identify X, Y, and Z? So let's look at it. X, we have emission of thermal energy from the air. X will be the absorption of the thermal energy by greenhouse gases. Then Y should be emission of the thermal energy to the earth, and then Z should be reduced thermal energy loss to space. So therefore, the answer is straightforward, which is A, because A is exactly how it's supposed to be. Question 27. Which equation describes the formation of two atmospheric pollutants that are not present in clean air? So it's also simple here. You're just going to look at the product. Which of these products will produce atmospheric pollutants that are not present in clean air? Clean air contains carbon dioxide, so that means all the options with carbon dioxide is out, which is option A has carbon dioxide as product, option B has carbon dioxide, option C has carbon dioxide. So the answer will be D, which is an incomplete combustion that produces carbon monoxide and carbon. So this is the equation that will produce atmospheric pollutant that is not present in clean air. Question 28. Some of the fractions obtained from the fractional distillation of petroleum are used as fuel for vehicles. Which two fractions are used as fuels for vehicles? Bitumen fraction and gasoline. No, we don't use bitumen fraction. Bitumen is for making road and other things, construction of bridges. So option A and B is wrong. Option C, gasoline fraction and kerosene fraction. That is absolutely correct. These are the two fractions that are used as fuel for vehicles. D, kerosene fraction and lubricating fraction. We don't use lubricating fraction as fuels for vehicles. So the answer is D. Question 29. The display formula of butanoic acid is shown. This is the display formula. Butanoic acid reacts with ethanol to form an ester. What is the structural formula and the empirical formula of the ester. So that means we have to get the ester first before we now get structural formula and then the empirical formula. So here we are told that butanoic acid, which is this, will react with ethanol. So this is plus. So this is ethanol. So the ester that is going to be formed is this. So this and this will be gone to form water. So this oxygen will be attached to this carbon to form the ester. So this is the ester that is going to be formed. Forget this oxygen. Look at it. Then these two carbons and the hydrogen. Look at them. Then we have this and this. So structural formula therefore is going to be, how many carbons do we have here? 1, 2, 3. So it will be C3. And we have how many hydrogens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Then we have this carbon COO. And then we have 1, 2 carbon. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hydrogens. So this is the structural formula. And the empirical formula, for us to get the empirical formula, we need to first of all get the molecular formula. How do we get the molecular formula? The molecular formula is the number of all the atoms in the compound. So we have how many carbons in all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 carbon, going to be C6. How many hydrogens do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And have oxygen. How many oxygen do we have? 1, 2. So this is the molecular formula, not the empirical formula. Empirical formula is the simplest ratio. So in order to get the empirical formula, we divide it by the smallest number, which is 2. So 2 here, 1, 2 here, 6, and then 2 here, 3. So therefore, the empirical formula is going to be C3H6O. So this is the structural formula, and this is the empirical formula. Let's check the option, which one corresponds with that. So option A and B have the same structural formula as what we got, but option B is the one with the correct empirical formula. So therefore, the answer is option B. Next question, question 30. What is the structural formula of propan-1-O? A, C3H7OH. This is wrong because even though it is a propanol, but it doesn't tell us the position at which the OH is, whether it's on carbon number 1, 2, or 3. So it is wrong. Then B is a propanol and the OH is on carbon number 1. So that is correct. The answer is B. If you look at option C, it is wrong because it is not an alcohol. Propanol is an alcohol. It's supposed to have an OH group. Then option D, this is general formula, not structural formula of propan-1-O. This is general formula for alcohols. So option B is the correct answer. Question 31. Alkenes can undergo addition reaction with aqueous bromine, hydrogen, or steam. Which reaction of ethene need a catalyst? So the reaction of ethene that we need a catalyst are with steam and with hydrogen only. So the answer is D. With aqueous bromine, you don't need catalyst. You only need catalyst in addition reaction of alkenes with steam and addition reaction of alkenes with hydrogen. Therefore, the answer is 2 and 3 only. Next question, question 32. Which conditions are used to manufacture ethanol by fermentation? So by fermentation, the temperature should be 30 degrees Celsius. So that means I'll show the answer is between B and D, and then the catalyst is yeast, not acid. So therefore, the correct answer is option D, 30 degrees Celsius for temperature, and then catalyst as yeast. Question 33. Which statement about an aqueous solution of ethanoic acid is correct? It reacts with magnesium to form water as one of the products. That is wrong. Ethanoic acid is an acid. Magnesium is a metal. Metal plus acid is not going to give us water, but rather hydrogen gas as one of the products. So the answer is wrong. Salt and hydrogen gas actually. The answer is wrong. Option B, it reacts with sodium carbonate to form carbon dioxide. That is correct. When acid reacts with a carbonate, one of the gases that will be released or one of the products that will be formed is carbon dioxide. So therefore, our answer is option B. Let's look at option C. React with sodium hydroxide to form hydrogen. That's wrong. Sodium hydroxide is an alkali. Acid plus alkali is going to give us salt and water, not hydrogen gas. It turns red litmus paper blue. It is an acid, though it's a weak acid, but it's not turn litmus paper blue. It will remain unchanged. Red litmus paper will not change color because it is an acid, even though it is a weak acid. So therefore, the answer is B. Question 34. Which statement explains why plastics should be recycled? Most do not decompose when they are added to landfill. That is absolutely correct. They pollute rivers and ocean where they harm wildlife. That's also correct. They can produce toxic gases when they are burned. That is correct. So that means the answer is A, which is 1, 2, and 3. Question 35. Which statement about the plastic PET are correct? PET is a condensation polymer. That is correct. PET is formed by condensation. Then PET is polyamide. That is wrong. It is a polyester. PET can be converted into monomers and repolymerized. That is correct. Through the process hydrolysis, you can convert PET to monomers, and then it can also be repolymerized. So therefore, the answer is C, which is option 1 and 3 only. Next question, question 36. The diagram represents part of the structure of a protein. 3 atoms have been labeled X, Y, and Z. So we have it here, X, Y, and Z. Which element are X, Y, and Z? So if you look at it, it's a polymer, so it's a repeat unit. So the X here will be oxygen, just like the oxygen here. The Y is going to be hydrogen, like this. And then the Z is going to be nitrogen, just like this here. So therefore, the answer is X is oxygen, Y is hydrogen, and then Z is nitrogen. So therefore, the answer is option C. 37. Locating agents are often used in paper chromatography. Which mixture requires a locating agent? Normally, we use locating agent when we have colorless substance. Okay, so therefore, the answer is going to be a mixture of 2 colorless substances. Question 38. A blue solid Q is soluble in water. Which method is used to obtain pure solid Q from aqueous solution? So it is soluble in water. When you put it in water, it's going to dissolve. Then how do you obtain pure solid Q from aqueous solution? The best process to get that is B, which is crystallization. You heat it to saturation and then you allow it to crystallize. Question 39. 2 test tubes each contain a sample of water. One test tube contains pure water, but the other test tube contains water and dissolved sodium chloride as an impurity. Which test may be used to identify the test tube that contains pure water? So in other words, how do we test for pure water? Okay. So one, we have measure the boiling point of each water sample. That is correct, because by measuring their boiling point, we can know which one is pure water. Pure water should give us boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius. So 1 is correct. Option 2, test each sample with acidified aqueous silver nitrate. That is also correct. We can use that to test for the purity of water. It says that if acidified aqueous silver nitrate is added, if the water is pure, the water will remain clear and colorless. But if it is not, precipitate will be formed. So this is another way to measure the purity of water, so it is correct. Test each sample with anhydrous copper 2 sulfate. This is wrong. Why? Because anhydrous copper 2 sulfate only tells us the presence of water. It doesn't tell us if the water is pure or impure. It only tell you that yes, there is water, but not the purity of the water. So therefore, the answer to this question is option A, which is 1 and 2. Question 40. The result of some tests on dilute aqueous solution X are shown. We have test and observation. Which cation is present in X? So X is dilute aqueous solution. So from here, the test and observation, the answer is D, which is zinc ion. Why is it zinc ion? Because zinc ion forms white precipitate soluble in excess ammonia and sodium hydroxide. And this is what we have here. Add aqueous ammonia. Look at what we have, white precipitate. Precipitate dissolved to form colorless solution. And when you add sodium hydroxide in excess, white precipitate dissolved to form colorless solution. And this will indicate the presence of zinc ion. So the answer is D, zinc ion. That's the end of part 2, covering questions 21 to 40, which brings us to the full walkthrough for IGCSE Chemistry, Paper 2, Variant 2, February-March 2026. If this helped you, like this video, subscribe to Campus Papers, share with friends preparing for IGCSE Chemistry. I'll see you in the next walkthrough.